Hello there. This is the UD Factor, a program that understands that knowledge is power. And therefore, week after week, we discuss issues and empower you with information to enable you make informed choices, especially when you factor in something you heard and the UD Factor into your situation. Today, we're going to be talking about the rights of women. And my guest is Barrister Evans Ufele. He's the crusader for the right of the female gender in sub-Saharan Africa. Do women really have rights? How do they exert their rights? And considering the fact that Nigeria is a very traditional society, how can you as a woman know your rights, exert your rights, without being called names? You know those names I'm talking about. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. You're welcome back. Barrister, thank you once again for coming to empower us with information.
Thank you.
You're a crusader on the rights of the female gender in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
Do women really have rights? Nigeria is a very traditional and patriarchal society where if a woman is confident, they say she's arrogant. If a woman is firm, they say she's aggressive. In a country like Nigeria, do women have rights?
Yes.
And what are those rights? Let's start from there.
Women actually have rights as much as men do. Okay. If you look at chapter 4 of the Constitution, which is from section 33, subsection 1, it says that we all have right to life. That is to say, a woman has right to life, a right to freedom of expression, freedom of association, freedom to aspire to anything, any level. You have that right to education. The woman have all such rights. But, because Nigeria is a very traditional society, a society that have diverse customs and culture and different kind of tenets of ancient practices that are anchored on deities and some inexplicable spirits and all that we cannot exhaust. But what I want to put forward here is that the Nigerian woman should know that the earth still remains today because of the woman. Humanity have subsisted over the time because of the woman. The woman is likened to the earth, and the earth likened to the woman. That is to say that the power of the cosmic universe is resident in the woman. When men say they are in charge, physically there's that, but if you look at it critically, you will find out that the man is only masculine, but the woman is intellectually in charge. But a lot of women do not know that they are actually in charge. That is why in Africa, where a woman is solid and firm, they say is bossy, is domineering, is this,
aggressive,
is that,
is stubborn, is a rebel.
Yeah, because the patriarchal society in Nigeria had written a script, a cultural script, that women should be subjected to certain kind of lifestyle. That the woman should not be heard loud. That the woman is just an appendage to the man. The woman is a weaker vessel. Religion brings its own particles or particulars of the woman also. And because Nigeria is a cultural, religious society where people are sometimes gullible, they have taken the woman to mean just one statue that have no emotions, no feelings, no rights, no understanding.
Does not hurt.
You understand?
That if you punch her, she can win.
Yes, she cannot. And that is wrong. That is why, if you look at it over the years, there have been several legislations all over the world. There are countries where women cannot vote, okay? Though that's not our case here. But I can tell you that there are certain activities they do. They say women should not be seen, okay? They want to do their cultural festival. Women should not be seen.
You can't partake.
Yes, a man dies, is the woman that kills her, okay? Yes, if the husband dies, is a wife that killed. But if the woman dies, then she has met her Waterloo.
And if the husband dies and the woman remarries, they say God forbid.
Yeah, they say God forbid, and you all know that. Even there are certain customs also that when the man dies, they want the woman to marry the brother of the man. She has no input on this. You understand? I understand. And then you have some particular part of Nigeria where little girls are betrothed, okay, as age 2, they are betrothed to a man, which is contrary to the Child Right Act. Section 31, 32 of the Child Right Act said that anybody who marries a child or who organizes or betroths a child shall be liable to 5 years imprisonment. You understand? So I think that women, other than allowing a patriarchal society like Nigeria to define their role, women should go back to the law. There is FIDA, Association of Women Lawyers in Nigeria. They should try as much as possible to entrench the right of a woman vis-a-vis the law. That is, we must draw the strength of the right of the woman from the law, because most of these customs and traditions during the colonial era, where the British brought the laws to us, most of these cultures could not pass the validity test. Most of the cultures were repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience. You know, there's a culture where if you give birth to twins, the twins are killed.
Yes.
Okay, and there are a lot of cultures like that in the past that could not pass the validity test. Those ones are repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience. But today, we still have many of these cultures also that ordinarily on the face value have not passed the validity test. But these cultures still dominate our practices. I think one of the most important things we need to do as a country is, first of all, to make sure that the female child have equal rights with the male child. In terms of education, in terms of opportunity, in terms of well-being, okay? You know, I've had a case where I walked into someone who will always ask the female child, has your brother eaten? Every time, has your brother eaten? Because she felt that the brother has to be okay. But I mean, I reversed the question and I asked her, ask the brother whether the girl has eaten. Let's have a balanced society so that you don't have, I've seen situations where ladies will pass through a market square and you find men, you know, trying to hit them, trying to just humiliate them. It's because of the kind of script we have. If you walk through the Yaba market, for example, any of these markets, a female, you will find that kind of harassment. Sexual harassment has gone high. Women are subjected to all kinds of situations. And the only way to cure this is, one, to begin to educate the male child as much as the female child. Because most of the time, the female child is taught how to sit as a lady, how to walk as a lady, how to talk as a lady. And that female child is going to join a male child who have never been taught anything on social etiquette or human behavior and interaction with the female gender. I'm calling on parents right now to teach the male child, the boy child, you know, to respect you, because if the boy child is not taught this, he probably wouldn't get it anywhere. And most of the time, the parents also, we have men that beat their wives. And when they beat their wives in the presence of the children. Okay? And the child who is at his formative years is absorbing the content like sponge.
And grows up thinking that marriages are supposed to be like that. Yes,
he grows up into a violent person, and he begins to, you know, create a lot of, you know, a man supposedly, even in African culture, is seen as the king of the house. Even though they read from the Bible, they do not understand properly, because it didn't say the man is the head of the house, it said the man is the head of the wife. That's what that Ephesians 2:15 supposedly said, if I get the quote right. Now, but because of this kind of power that the men, you know, seems to have gotten, they have thrown the script like the current movie, The Game of Thrones, you know, where, you know, one of the maester had to tell Tyrion Lannister that kings lack the caution of common men. And that is just the scripts of the society. Men who pretend as kings in their homes, they lack the caution of common. They lack the caution to understand that the male child and the female child have equal right by law.
Hold the thoughts. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, my guest is Barrister Evans Ofeli. He's a crusader for the rights of the female gender in sub-Saharan Africa. I want to ask you, how are you bringing up your son? Are you bringing up your son to respect ladies, girls? Or how are you bringing up your son that he's a king of the house, can do no wrong, cannot say please, cannot say thank you? In our society today, and we're talking about the rights of this female, we talked about some traditions. A man dies, and they decide to shave the woman's hair. Who shaves the hair? It's women.
Yes.
A woman gets into a position of authority. You approach her for help. Even the way and manner she's going to be talking to you, it makes you feel small. Don't you think that this rights, abusing of this rights, yes, the men abuse rights of women, but don't you think that women too don't help matters themselves?
Yeah, I think there's contributory negligence from the part of women also to other women. Because if you look at it, the women also contribute a larger chunk to this issue. A lot of them are guilty because they tend to diminish the woman. When a woman comes up with an ideology, a young girl comes to the mom and says, I want to be an astronaut. The mother is like, what does an astronaut do? And say, I want to go to space. I want to understand cosmics and galaxies and all that. And the expression in her face already diminishes the child's ambition and aspiration. Okay, I've seen situations where a woman came out in a community that she wanted to contest for a chairmanship of the local government. It was women that came together and said, now you won't go.
And they'll ask her, no, go sit down, cook for your husband.
Things like that. You know, so women in a way also need education on this issue, because when we say that women and the men should have equal opportunity, we're not asking women to take over the role of men. And we're not asking men to take over the role of women. But we are saying that women have rights, and society must recognize these rights. And these rights are enshrined in the law books, so that women and men should look at the law books and see what the law say about the female gender. You understand? And that should be applied to our day-to-day life, okay? And it should also be inculcated in our curriculums in our schools. From kindergarten, let the both sexes be taught on the importance of this equal opportunity, equal rights. People are equal and all that. Religion playing a very dangerous role. That did that.
A bit patriarchal.
Yes, highly patriarchal. Yes. You understand, highly. But times have changed. We have seen that from even biologically, the biological composition of the man and the woman is the same thing, except for little differences in terms of shape and all that. But we are all human beings. Do you know that there are certain cultures that they see women as less human, subhuman? You understand? And this is wrong. Okay, women have played significant role even in our pre-colonial administration. There's Queen Amina of Zaria.
Yes.
Okay, Queen Amina of Zaria wielded a lot of power. He was able to unite a lot of kingdoms in those days, and history had it that she stood out in the whole of Africa as one of the most important leaders. And if you look at our political sphere, we've had also women that have done, exceedingly well in different agencies of government in the past. So this is a proof, this is an empirical evidence that women can do as much as men can do. And that is why they should open up the space equally for women to exercise their rights. If a woman is confident, it's because she knows her rights. She's not rude. You understand? If a woman is fighting for equal rights and opportunities because she understands that both genders should have equal rights and opportunities, she's not rude. So if you are out there now, you believe that a woman is subhuman, you are wrong, because it is not what it should be. Okay? We have equal opportunity, we have equal rights, and we must make the women feel comfortable whenever they are in the mix of men, because most of the times when you find a young girl in the mix of other men, maybe in terms of workforce, team, and even in employment, okay, there's always discrimination here and there. Women are looked at as subhuman. But where we have this culture of making the right of the male and the female inclusive, then we are going to exercise a better society where people will be full of confident of themselves. If you go to the West, it seems like the woman even have more power in certain areas, okay? In Nigeria here, it's difficult. Sometimes to get alimony, okay, it's possible, but you have, yes, it's always a battle from the family, the family of the man, the family of the husband, confronting the woman, bringing all kinds of cultural interpretation, elders gathering in circle, pointing fingers of hate and vindictiveness and rancor against the woman. And it is wrong, because these people who do it, they also have female children. There are even parts of this country where you give birth to a female child, you have 4 girls. People will ask you that, when are you going to give birth to a child? You have 4 girls. These 4 girls are human beings, they are children, but you see issues of diminished thoughts about that particular gender.
You find out that most women, too, when they give birth to daughters and they haven't given birth to a boy, I know cases where the husbands don't mind, but the women are like they're in mourning.
Yes, because there's a pressure from the cultural, the script of society here. And it is wrong for women to begin to pander, to begin to shiver because they have to give birth to a man. Because there's also this fear also that a man may likely go out and have a male child somewhere. There's always something about...
But the thing is that you can have boys, girls, and the man will still go outside and have children.
That is it. And there's this thing about who will bear my name, who will bear my name, who will bear my name after I've gone. I mean, I ask people, which name are you talking about? Are you an inventor? Or are you some Shakespeare or something? This name is unnecessary. I'm not saying that your name should not endure, but I'm saying that if what God has given you is a female, is enough. The female can bear the name.
Yes.
Okay? They can bear their name, bear your name if you want. So they are children. So we should not put pressure on ourselves. We don't have... Life expectancy here is just about 47, and people, even with the low standard of life, people create problems for themselves, choke themselves with high blood pressure and all kind of disease because of unnecessary pressure. Sometimes the pressure is not even from the home front, from a neighbor, okay? A neighbor is putting pressure, the family members, the extended family members and all that. So we should begin to understand that what we have is what we have. We must manage what we have, grow what we have, and make whatever we have strong. I've seen women, I've seen young girls in their 20s who are pilots, succeeding very well, who have aspired to everything they want to become, and they become whatever they want to become, just like their male counterpart. So there's no difference in that. The life has evolved, okay? We're in an era where people must make what they have, turn it to what they want.
Hold the thought, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, my guest is still Barrister Ivan Sufeli. He's a crusader on the rights of the female gender in sub-Saharan Africa. Barrister Sufeli, most of the time, our men are brought up in an environment where they have never seen their fathers show affection to their mother.
Yes, that's common.
And men grow up without knowing affection because you cannot give
what you don't have.
What you don't know. You don't even know it.
You don't know it.
So you don't have it. So I believe that we should bring up our boys in a way where they know affection. They know how to show love. Most people don't know how to show affection.
Yes.
And upbringing has a lot to do with it.
Yes.
But because the girls tend to receive affection, when is your daughter, you cuddle her, hug her, you understand? But they don't do that to the boys. So the boys grow up believing that they should show this macho.
It is about might.
Exactly.
And all that. And I mean, there's also a part of it which survivor is playing a role. In some homes, it's all about survivor. The man just tries to survive and try to make the family survive. And the boy child grows up not to know anything about love, affection. That is why you have a rising case of domestic violence in Nigeria.
You have cases where the men are abused, but they can't talk about it.
It's both sides. There are men also who are abused. I know that.
But the men don't talk about it,
actually,
which is
not
very
the case. It's unfortunate because they are supposed to be seen in society as powerful. I know of a case where the wife kept beating the husband to a point where the wife nearly killed the man before the man went to report.
And when a man gets there to report, they will laugh at him.
They will be laughing at him. And that is the education we're talking about. Because there are certain women that you don't joke with them.
You don't mess with them.
Their size alone and what they can lift. They can lift anything that is even have more weight than even you standing before them. They can do anything. You understand? So I think the question of violence, except that the topic we're discussing today is the right of the women.
It's true.
But we have to balance it objectively
Yes.
to also say that women in a lot of cases also abuse. You have a teacher who is a woman abuse,
Yes.
students use wrong words, expression and all that. Verbal abuse,
Yes.
okay, is also a very big issue.
How about rape? Does a married woman have the right to say no when she doesn't feel like?
She does. She does. It's more of a moral issue, okay, because where they have, maybe there's health issue, there's complication and all that. And if the man had to go across that jettisoning the circumstances and situation, then it's abuse, because you cannot actually sue a man for raping the wife. You can only sue him for sexual harassment. Okay. Wow. Yes, because it's not. You can't by a law. Okay.
So by Nigerian law.
By Nigerian law.
But abroad, you can't sue your husband.
You can't do that. But here, you can also bring the charge under that sexual harassment and all that. And that is an issue where we need to talk to men, especially. You know, you are on a street where you have little girls, you have female gender. We must treat them with care. We must treat them positively. We must give them that opportunity and respect. You understand, so that they will feel belong. They will understand that society is for them. Not that we will turn the whole street to a war zone. We will shut down women. We say that women are meant to be seen and not heard, and expressions like that diminishes everyone, and it makes society complicated. And at the end of the day, you are talking about recession. From recession, you are creating another problem. You are creating multiple problems. We see that apart from the fact that we have economic issues, we also have issues that we create for ourselves, you know, by promoting inequalities in society, you know, putting a female into precarious situations they ought not to be, unnecessary culture and custom that condemn women for speaking, association and all that, belonging to association of the right. That's why I said, like I said before, that the right of the woman, both the women in society and men in society, should look at the laws and draw from the laws, not the culture or traditions of these respective places. And we have a lot of rural areas in Nigeria. That is why we're even on air here, trying to send a message to them that the female have equal rights with the male child. It's not a challenge. We're not challenging the male child. We're just enlightening them that this is what it is, and society must be able to interpret that. And the ministries that are in charge of disseminating national orientation and information, the Agency for National Orientation and all that, they have a work to do. But I actually don't know what they do. They must begin to take this crusade. Okay, these are issues, little issues like this is what helps to redefine a society. They must begin to push this forward, that this is what it is, and not what it has always been, where the culture dictates, where these customs and culture start, there are practices of men. Sometimes there are practices of our great-grandfathers, someone who possibly may have been a pedophile, started an action, it metamorphosized into a culture. And somebody starts this culture and tradition did not fall from people, kings, queens in the past, laid certain tenets. And some of these kings and queens that laid this tenets, they laid it to suit their own human urges and interests. You understand? Then the whole generation takes it for the next 300 years. Yes. And it keeps, going. You understand? You can imagine a culture where someone is 6 years old, she's married. You understand? Who started that? Where did that come from? It came from someone who perhaps was a pedophile, and maybe he was influential.
Barrister Ofeli will leave this here for now, but you'll join us in the next episode where we'll talk about the child rights. Okay. Having talked about the female rights. Right. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Do you have sons? What do you say to your sons? How do you teach them to be? Do you teach them to be macho, that a woman is nothing? Do you teach them to be affectionate? Are you affectionate towards them? Because most of our sons don't know what affection is, and they grow into becoming hard men. I don't want you to say I'm a woman leader. No, I'm not. I'm just talking about a woman's rights. Your daughters, our daughters, they have rights. So we have to teach our sons to respect our daughters, to respect women, to respect girls. Because just like you teach your daughters how to be good wives, you teach them how to cook, teach your son to how to cook. There's a day he'll get married and the wife might not be feeling too well, he'll have to cook for his wife. We have to create a society where there's love, where there's bonding, where there's affection, where the girl is not timid to speak out on how she feels. The way some have brought up their daughters are even afraid to confide in them when things happen. I want you to be able to talk to your son. Teach your son how to be loving. Teach your son how to be respectful towards a woman. That way he'll grow up to become a man who will love his wife, never hit his wife, and then he'll be able to bring up his sons. And then we'll be able to erase a tradition that has been with us for millions of years, where the woman is to be seen and not heard. Well, I'm not a woman's leader. I love the comfort of a man. I love to be given affection. I love to be loved. So I'm not saying this because I'm a woman leader. I'm not talking about women's lead. I'm talking about a woman's right to be heard, to be seen, to aspire to be what God intended her to be, without being afraid of how society will judge her. Until I come your way another time, my name is Yudi. See you again next week.